Hey everyone! Well, you're all probably waiting for the Monarch TV show, or the Skull Island anime. I think if you haven't seen or heard of this show yet, then I think you should definitely check it out, because Lord knows Netflix didn't even try to promote it. Pacific Rim the Black was released last year, and now its second and final season is available to watch. Before I talk about the show, I'll let you all know my thoughts on the franchise as a whole, since I've never talked about it before. The first Pacific Rim is fantastic. To me, it's honestly still the best kaiju film to come out of the 2010s. It has a simple but enjoyable story, some pretty good to god tier characters, and I don't even think I can gush about how good the fights and CGI are. It's been talked about to death for the last decade, and it all still holds up really well. The sequel that most people love to joke about doesn't exist is a really frustrating piece of work. The fight scenes with Obsidian Fury are great though, even if there's no longer any weight to the Jaegers anymore. I mean, I just love Obsidian Fury, he's just so cool, man. He's so cool! Finally we get into the show, and going in you might be surprised to know that it's by the same animation company that did the Godzilla anime trilogy. But don't worry, unlike it, the animation and the color palette is much more easy on the eyes, and it actually feels like it took advantage of the medium it's in. Some of the fights, like the first one you see in the first episode, are pretty clunky, but they get better over time, and they have a lot of good moments. Now the characters might be hit or miss with some people, which I can understand, but it never stoops to the generic nature the studio's previous work did. Some call the main female character Haley annoying, mostly because she tries to always go after this seemingly innocent kid, even though it's not in the best of the group's safety. But I guess spoilers for the first episode of the show. She and her brother accidentally set an alarm which causes a kaiju to come and attack their home, killing everyone in the process. So I can see why she's guilt-driven and trying to help out this kid. I won't spoil most of the show because I think you all should watch it, but there's a lot of twists and turns. I got really depressed on episode 6 of season 2. I think most people latch onto Mei. She's definitely the character with the most character growth, and she's easily the better purple-haired Mei, because she's actually a full-dimensional character. I think another problem with the show is probably going to be the detriment of season 2 itself. It's clear that the show wanted to go for 3 seasons, so they had to cram in as much as they could into the last season. There are characters and plot points that are just brought up and then just leave immediately, or are never brought up again. Most of the important plot points are covered, thankfully, but I really wish Netflix could have given them a 3rd season to flesh this all out. Depending on how much you'll tolerate, I think it's still worth a watch. It's only 14 20-minute episodes. And trust me, it's much better than the second movie. If I had to take the hype away from having something outside the first film that was actually enjoyable, I would still give it a solid 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed the show despite all its flaws. And I hope the franchise doesn't end here despite how poorly it's been handled since Del Toro left. Man, can someone come and save this franchise. But for real though, the show was a huge glow up from the anime trilogy.